Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast frozen realm, a place where eternal winter reigns and the mountains touch the sky. Here, in the silence of endless snow, begins the story of Skadi, a goddess born of ice, shaped by solitude, and destined to walk between two worlds. Feel the crisp, clean air fill your lungs. It carries the scent of ancient pine and the faint metallic tang of ice. Beneath your feet, the snow lies deep and undisturbed, a soft, yielding blanket stretching as far as the eye can see. The only sound is the gentle whisper of the wind, a lullaby carried across the vast white expanse. Above, the sky is a canvas of deep twilight blues, perhaps with the faint shimmer of distant stars beginning to appear. This is the realm of giants, a place of raw, untamed beauty, where the very air seems to hold ancient secrets. Allow your mind to drift into this serene landscape. Picture towering peaks, their summits perpetually capped with snow, guardians of a silent world. Imagine the intricate patterns of frost on ancient stones, the way the moonlight casts long, soft shadows across the pristine snowfields. There is a profound stillness here, a quiet majesty that invites peace. Let the vastness of this frozen land envelop you, drawing you deeper into a state of calm. Feel the gentle chill on your skin, not harsh but refreshing, a reminder of the enduring power of nature. In this tranquil, icy domain, we begin our journey with Skadi. She is a figure of immense strength and quiet dignity, a goddess whose story is woven into the very fabric of these cold, beautiful lands. As you listen, let the rhythm of her tale and the imagery of her world guide you gently towards a peaceful slumber. Allow your thoughts to settle, your body to relax and your breath to deepen. You are safe here in the heart of her story. Chapter 1. The Daughter of Vengeance. Who chose mercy? Skadi was born into this formidable world, the beloved daughter of Thrym, a powerful and ancient frost giant. Her home was Thrymheim, a fortress nestled high in the mountains, a place of immense stone and perpetual ice. She knew the biting winds and the deep snows as intimately as she knew her own heart. Her days were spent traversing the treacherous peaks, hunting with bow and arrow, her spirit as wild and untamed as the land itself. She was a giantess of formidable will, her beauty as stark and striking as the winter landscape. Then a shadow fell upon her world. News reached Thrymheim, carried on the frigid winds, that her father, Thrym, had been slain. His death was not a natural passing, but an act of violence committed by the gods of Asgard, the mighty Aesir. The reason for his demise was a complex tale of stolen treasures and broken trusts. But for Skadi, the truth was simple and searing. Her father was gone, and the gods were responsible. A cold, hard rage settled deep within her. It was a fury as sharp as an ice shard, as relentless as a blizzard. The grief for her father mingled with a burning desire for retribution. In the traditions of her people, such a wrong could not go unpunished. Vengeance was a sacred duty, a path etched in the very ice of her homeland. She felt the weight of expectation, the ancient call to exact a terrible price for her father's life. So Skadi, clad in her armor, armed with her bow and spear, set out from Thrymheim. Her journey was long and arduous, a solitary trek across frozen wastes and jagged peaks, her determination a palpable force. She moved with the silent grace of a predator, her eyes fixed on the distant, shimmering spires of Asgard, the home of those who had wronged her. Each step was a testament to her resolve, a silent promise of the reckoning to come. When she finally arrived at the gates of Asgard, her presence was a stark contrast to the golden halls. She stood tall and imposing, a figure of icy wrath, demanding justice. The Aesir, mighty as they were, recognized the gravity of her claim. They knew the ancient laws of compensation and the fierce spirit of the giants. They understood that a direct confrontation with Skadi, fueled by such righteous anger, would be costly and perhaps unnecessary. Instead of battle, they offered terms. They sought to appease her, to mend the rift with something other than bloodshed. They offered her gold, treasures, and other forms of recompense. But Skadi, in her grief and anger, was not easily swayed by material wealth. Her father's life was worth more than any hoard. She stood firm, her gaze unwavering, demanding something more profound, something that acknowledged her loss and her power. It was then that the gods, in their wisdom, proposed a unique form of appeasement. They offered her a husband from among their own ranks. This was a significant gesture, a way to bind her to Asgard, to integrate her into their world, and to honor her in a way that transcended mere payment. But there was a condition, a playful twist to their offer, designed to bring a moment of lightness to the heavy atmosphere. She was to choose her husband not by his face, for that would be too direct, too revealing of her preferences. Instead, she was to choose him by his feet alone. Imagine the scene, the gods lined up behind a curtain, their faces hidden, only their feet visible. Skadi, with her keen hunter's eye, studied each pair of feet, searching for a sign, a clue to the man who would become her husband. She saw feet that were large and calloused, feet that were slender and elegant, feet that were scarred from battle, and feet that were smooth from leisure. Her gaze lingered on one particular pair. They were well-formed, clean, and seemed to possess a certain grace, a quiet dignity. She believed these feet belonged to Baldur, the most beautiful of the gods, and her heart, despite her rage, held a flicker of hope for a handsome match. But when the curtain was drawn back, it was not Baldur who stood before her. It was Njord, the god of the sea, of ships, and of the gentle winds. His face was kind, his eyes held the vastness of the ocean, and his feet, though beautiful, were accustomed to the sandy shores and the salty spray, not the icy peaks of her home. A wave of surprise, perhaps even a touch of disappointment, washed over her. Yet Skadi had made her choice. And in that moment, a profound shift occurred within her. The burning desire for vengeance, which had driven her across the frozen lands, began to cool. She had come seeking retribution, but she found herself negotiating, accepting terms, and ultimately choosing a path of integration rather than endless conflict. It was a pragmatic decision, a testament to her wisdom and her ability to see beyond immediate anger. This was her first act of mercy, not just for the gods, but for herself. She chose peace over perpetual war, a future over a past consumed by grief. The coldness of her initial rage began to transform, not into warmth, but into a quiet acceptance, a recognition that life, even after loss, must continue. The weight of choosing peace over vengeance was heavy, but it also brought a strange, quiet liberation. She had secured compensation, not in blood, but in a bond, a connection to the very realm that had caused her pain. This choice, seemingly simple, was a powerful statement of her character. It showed a depth of spirit that allowed her to navigate the complexities of grief and justice, finding a path that honored her father without consuming her own future. As she prepared to join Njord, the sharp edges of her anger softened, replaced by a quiet resolve. She was still Skadi, the daughter of the mountains, but now she carried a new understanding, a new perspective. The path of vengeance had been laid before her, clear and compelling, but she had chosen a different way, a more nuanced journey. Let the echoes of this choice settle gently in your mind. The strength to choose peace, even when anger burns brightly, is a profound power. Feel the quiet wisdom of Skadi's decision, allowing it to bring a sense of calm and resolution to your own thoughts. Her journey had just begun, and already she had shown a remarkable capacity for growth and acceptance. Chapter 2. The Huntress of the Mountains. Solitude as Strength. Despite her new ties to Asgard, Skadi's true heart remained in the mountains. She was at her core a huntress. Her spirit thrived in the vast, untamed wilderness of her homeland. Imagine her, moving silently through the deep snow, her skis gliding effortlessly across the pristine surface. The only sound is the soft, rhythmic crunch of the snow underfoot, a comforting melody in the profound silence of the peaks. She carried her bow with practiced ease, her arrows tipped with ice, her aim unerring. Her eyes, sharp and keen, scanned the horizon, reading the subtle signs of the wild, the tracks of a deer, the flight of an eagle, the whisper of the wind through the ancient pines. All were part of a language she understood intimately. This was her domain, a place where she felt truly alive, truly herself, The solitude of the mountains was not a burden to Skadi, it was a source of immense strength. In the quiet vastness, she found clarity, focus, and a deep connection to the primal forces of nature. There were no distractions, no demands, only the raw, honest beauty of the world. The cold, which might deter others, invigorated her, sharpening her senses and hardening her resolve. It was a cold that cleansed, a cold that made her feel alive. Picture the sun, a pale disk in the winter sky, casting long, ethereal shadows. The air is so clear, so pure, that every distant peak seems within reach. The scent of frozen earth and ancient rock fills the air, a grounding aroma that speaks of timelessness. Skadi moved through this landscape, not as a visitor, but as an integral part of it, her movements as fluid and natural as the falling snow. Her strength was not merely physical, though she possessed the power of a giantess. It was a strength born of self-reliance, of knowing how to survive and thrive in the harshest conditions. She built her own fires, tracked her own game, and found shelter in the natural contours of the land. Every challenge of the wilderness honed her skills and deepened her understanding of herself. Imagine the feeling of the wind on your face, a gentle caress that carries the scent of distant forests. The vastness of the open space around you, a sense of boundless freedom. There is no rush here, no urgency, only the steady rhythm of the hunt, the quiet observation of the world. Skadi's connection to nature was profound, a silent dialogue between her spirit and the wild heart of the mountains. She knew the secret paths of the deer, the hidden dens of the wolves, the soaring roots of the eagles. She respected the creatures of the wild, taking only what she needed, living in harmony with the delicate balance of her ecosystem. Her hunting was not an act of aggression, but a dance of survival, a testament to her place in the natural order. The absolute silence of the mountains was her sanctuary. It allowed her to hear the subtle shifts in the wind, the distant call of a bird, the soft rustle of a hidden creature. In this quiet, her thoughts became clear, unburdened by the clamor of other worlds. She found peace in the stillness, a deep contentment that nourished her soul. Her skis, crafted from ancient wood, were an extension of her feet, allowing her to glide effortlessly over the deepest snows. She was a master of this art, a blur of motion against the white backdrop, her movements graceful and powerful. The feeling of flying across the snow, the wind rushing past her ears, was a sensation of pure, unadulterated freedom. This was the essence of Skadi, a being of immense power, yet deeply connected to the quiet majesty of her environment. Her strength was not loud or boastful, but a deep, abiding resilience forged in the solitude of the frozen peaks. She was a testament to the idea that true power often lies in self-sufficiency and a profound understanding of one's own nature. Allow yourself to feel the quiet strength of Skadi, the peace that comes from being truly at home in your own skin, in your own chosen environment. Let the imagery of the silent, snowy mountains fill your mind, bringing a sense of calm and groundedness. The crisp air, the soft snow, the vast open spaces all invite a deep relaxation. Her life in the mountains was a constant meditation, a continuous practice of awareness and presence. Every breath was a connection to the cold, clean air, every step a communion with the ancient earth. She was a guardian of the wild, a silent sentinel of the winter world, her spirit as enduring as the ice itself. As you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine the feeling of that invigorating cold. Not harsh, but awakening, then slowly fading into a gentle warmth as your body finds its comfort. The freedom of open space, the quiet hum of nature, all contribute to a profound sense of peace. Skadi, the huntress, found her true self in these moments of solitude, in the rhythm of the hunt, in the embrace of the wild. Her strength was a quiet, unwavering force, a testament to the power of self-reliance and an unbreakable connection to the natural world. Let this image of quiet strength and peaceful solitude guide your thoughts. The mountains stand tall, silent, and eternal, just as Skadi's spirit endures. Feel the calm that comes from this deep connection to self and nature, allowing it to soothe your mind and prepare you for deeper rest. Chapter 3. Between Two Worlds. The Marriage That Couldn't Work. Following her agreement with the Aesir, Skadi became the wife of Njord, the the gentle god of the sea. It was a union born of necessity and negotiation, rather than passionate love. Njord, with his kind eyes and calm demeanor, was a god of the coast, of fishing boats and the rhythmic crash of waves. His home, Noatun, was a beautiful place by the sea, filled with the cries of gulls and the salty tang of the ocean air. Skadi, however, was a creature of the mountains, of the biting cold and the profound silence of the peaks. Her home, Thrymheim, was a place of snow and ice, where the wind whistled through jagged rocks and the only sounds were the crunch of snow and the distant howl of a wolf. Their worlds, though both beautiful, were utterly opposite. They attempted to make their marriage work, to bridge the vast chasm between their natures. They agreed to a compromise. They would spend 9 nights in Njord's seaside home, Noatun, and then 9 nights in Skadi's mountain fortress, Thrymheim. A noble effort, a gentle attempt to find common ground. Imagine Skadi standing on the sandy shores of Noatun. The warm sun, so different from the pale light of her mountains, felt strange on her skin. The constant sound of the waves, crashing and receding, was a ceaseless roar to her ears, accustomed to the deep quiet of her peaks. The cries of the gulls, though beautiful, were a cacophony compared to the whisper of the mountain wind. She longed for the crisp, cold air, the solid feel of rock beneath her feet, the vast, unbroken silence. The soft sand felt alien, shifting and yielding, unlike the firm, unmoving snow. She felt out of place, a towering figure of ice and snow amidst the warmth and fluidity of the sea. Her heart yearned for the familiar embrace of her frozen home. Then imagine Njord, in turn, attempting to make his home in Thrymheim. He, who loved the gentle lapping of waves, found the silence of the mountains oppressive, almost deafening. The biting cold, which invigorated Skadi, chilled him to the bone. He missed the salty spray on his face, the scent of the ocean, the familiar rhythm of the tides. He found the mountains bleak and desolate, a stark contrast to the vibrant life of the sea. The constant snow, the jagged peaks, the howling winds, all spoke of a harshness that was foreign to his gentle nature. He longed for the warmth of the sun, the soft sand between his toes, the comforting sound of the ocean's breath. After their first 9 nights in Noatun, Skadi spoke of her discomfort. She found the gulls' cries unbearable, the sea's constant motion unsettling. She yearned for the stillness, the quiet, the profound peace of her mountains. Her words were not harsh, but filled with a gentle longing, a deep sadness for a home she could not truly share. And after their 9 nights in Thrymheim, Njord, too, expressed his unhappiness. He spoke of the mountains as a place of sorrow, of the wolves' howls as a mournful sound. He missed the warmth, the light, the vibrant life of the sea. His words, like Skadi's, were not accusatory, but filled with a quiet despair, a recognition of an insurmountable difference. It was a gentle emotional conflict, not one of anger or betrayal, but of fundamental incompatibility. They were 2 beings, good and kind, who simply could not thrive in each other's chosen worlds. Their love, if it was love, could not overcome the deep-seated needs of their very beings. It was a universal theme, the understanding that sometimes, even with the best intentions, 2 paths simply cannot merge. They both realized with a quiet acceptance that their marriage, though an honorable attempt, could not endure. There was no blame, no bitterness, only a shared understanding that their natures were too distinct, their homes too vital to their spirits. The sacrifice of one's true self for another's world was too great a price to pay. This realization brought a quiet sadness, but also a profound sense of clarity. Skadi understood that her connection to the mountains was not merely a preference, but an intrinsic part of who she was. Njord, likewise, knew that the sea was his essence, his source of peace and power. Let the gentle melancholy of this understanding wash over you. It is a story of acceptance, of recognizing that some things, though beautiful, are not meant to be forced. Feel the quiet dignity in their separation, the mutual respect that allowed them to part ways without animosity. The contrast between the snowy mountains and the warm beaches, the feeling of being out of place. The sound of the sea versus the silence of the mountains. These sensory details paint a picture of their incompatible worlds. It is a reminder that each of us has a place where we truly belong, a landscape that resonates with our soul. Skadi's psychology was explored in this period. She learned that while compromise is valuable, sacrificing one's core identity is not sustainable. This experience, though tinged with sadness, ultimately led her closer to understanding her true self and her unwavering connection to her icy domain. Chapter 4. The Goddess Reclaimed, Independence and Legacy. With a quiet understanding, Skadi and Njord parted ways. There was no anger, no resentment, only a mutual recognition of their fundamental differences. Skadi, with a sense of profound relief and renewed purpose, turned her back on the sea and began her journey home. She returned to the towering peaks, to the deep snows, to the biting winds that were her truest companions. This return was not a retreat, but a triumphant homecoming. She was no longer a daughter seeking vengeance, nor a wife attempting to fit into an alien world. She was Skadi, the goddess of winter, of hunting, of skiing, complete and whole in her own right. The mountains welcomed her back with their silent embrace, the crisp air a familiar comfort. She reclaimed her solitude, not as a punishment, but as a conscious choice, a source of her immense power. In the vast empty spaces of her realm, she found a deep and abiding peace. The crunch of snow under her feet, the whisper of the wind through the pines, the distant howl of a wolf, these were the sounds of her freedom, the symphony of her true home. Her legacy became one of fierce independence and unwavering connection to nature. She was a patron of hunters, a protector of the wild, a symbol of resilience in the face of harsh conditions. Her spirit was as enduring as the eternal snows, her resolve as unyielding as the ancient rock. She taught that strength can be found in self-reliance, and that true belonging comes from within. Imagine her standing on a high peak, surveying her domain. The sun, a pale orb in the winter sky, casts a golden glow on the pristine snow. The air is still, cold and utterly pure. There is a profound sense of peace, a deep contentment that radiates from her. She is exactly where she is meant to be, a goddess fully realized in her own chosen world. Her story offers a comforting message that it is possible to be complete alone, to find fulfillment in one's own company and in one's deep connection to the world. It is a reminder that sometimes the greatest strength lies in knowing and embracing who you truly are, even if it means walking a solitary path. The acceptance of solitude as a choice, not a consequence, is a powerful lesson. Skadi found her ultimate peace in the eternal snows, in the quiet majesty of her mountains. Her journey, from vengeance to negotiation, from compromise to self-reclamation, led her to a profound understanding of her own spirit. Let the image of Skadi, strong and serene in her mountain home, fill your mind. Her story is a testament to the enduring power of self-discovery and the quiet strength found in embracing one's true nature. Feel the deep peace that comes from this sense of belonging, this profound connection to self and environment. Her legacy is not one of conquest, but of quiet endurance, of fierce independence, and of a deep, abiding love for the wild, untamed places of the world. She stands as a beacon for those who find solace and strength in solitude, a reminder that true power often resides in the quiet corners of the soul. As her story draws to a close, allow the sense of resolution to settle over you. Skadi found her peace, her purpose, and her home. Let this feeling of completion and quiet contentment guide you gently towards your own peaceful rest. All is well. All is resolved. Final chapter. Epilogue. Now gently, bring your awareness back to that vast, frozen realm where our journey began. Imagine yourself once more standing at the edge of the endless snow, beneath the twilight sky. The mountains stand tall and silent, guardians of ancient wisdom. The air is crisp and clean, carrying the faint scent of pine and ice. The story of Skadi, the goddess born of ice, has come full circle. She found her strength, her peace, and her true home in the heart of the winter world. Let the profound stillness of this landscape and the quiet resolution of her tale lull you deeper into a peaceful, restorative sleep. Rest now, in the embrace of the silent, snowy night.